Hello everybody, we're here from the University of East Anglia, and just to introduce myself, my name is Karen Blackney and I'm the Associate Director for UEA Global. And sitting next to me...
Hi there, I'm Ratula Chakraborty and I'm Professor of Business Management from Norwich Business School.
So today we've got a few questions we're actually going to ask each other in the hope that this will give you the information that you need to make your decision about where you come and study. So you're going to start, I think.
Yeah, I shall indeed. And we have questions, just like you guys will have questions.
Indeed.
When you study with us. So, Karen, would you like to tell us a few things about UEA initiatives for international students?
Yes, well, I think probably just thinking about, even before you get here, there are plenty of ways to find out about the university. Obviously, you can work with people like IDP who work with us all around the world. They'll give you lots of guidance and advice, and we work really closely with them to ensure that they have all the information that they need and that they can guide you properly. But if you're still not sure, then you can speak to students who are already at the university. So we have a great system called UniBuddy. You can go on our website and you can choose to chat with a student, join student groups and find out more from the people that are actually already studying. So then you've made your decision and you've decided, I am coming to the University of East Anglia. Then we want to make sure that you arrive safely and that it's easy for you to make the travelling. So we give you lots of advice in advance, special advice for international students about how to get here, what to pack. We've got lots of different videos to give you advice. And then, of course, when you arrive, some people are very independent and they want to make their own way to campus. But for those that don't, we offer an airport pickup service from London, and we will bring you all the way to the campus. And this is one of our favourite times of year because we get to meet all the new students and get to know them a little bit. And yeah, I love that time of year. And then when you get there, there's some events and parties, a kind of orientation programme, which we have, which is specifically for the international students, so they can get to know each other, make their first friends, and learn about how to get around the campus and how to get into town. We take people in on the bus. We show them where you can buy food that you might, Asian food, for example, so you can cook in the halls, and also where you can go to the good restaurants and cafeterias on the campus. So those are some special initiatives. And then throughout the year, really you are integrated to the university. So most of all the activities are really with British students. And there are so many. I mean, you can volunteer, you can go and talk about being an Indian student or what it means to live in India in a local school, for example. Or you could join a society. We have lots of societies on all kinds of topics, but there's also an Indian society. So if you want to meet with other people from your own culture and background, cook together, this kind of thing, then there's opportunity for that too. But I'll talk a bit more about other sports facilities later.
Yeah. And if I can add to that as well, Karen,
sure,
is the fact that, say, for our Indian students, they do celebrate Indian festivals.
Yeah.
Like just last week we celebrated Diwali.
Yeah.
Our Indian students dressed up in colourful clothes. We had all sorts of things to eat and drink.
Yeah.
And so that was fabulous. Then in terms of the societies as well, Karen mentioned. And on top of that, we do, for international students especially, we do in-session lessons as well in
Yep.
semester 1 to get you up to speed, because some of you will come from different institutions where perhaps you studied in a bit of a different way. And we do certain things differently. So to get you up to speed, so you really perform at your best, we do a few things in many of the schools of the university.
Yeah.
So that's there. How would you say would the career service at UEA help students to seek full-time opportunities in the UK, Karen?
Yeah, well, we have a great career service.
Yeah.
So they're based very centrally on the campus. So they have a very open door policy for people to go in and talk to a member of staff about their career, what kind of opportunities they want. You can go onto a database and search for company opportunities, either for placements or for work after you study. And as probably all of you already know, you can work in the UK for 2 years after you study. And that's called the graduate route visa. And then if you're doing well and the company likes you, you can apply for another visa to stay for longer. So it's actually really easy. The graduate route visa is so easy to apply for and pretty low cost really by comparison to many others. So it is definitely a good option. But not only do you have individual counsellors to help you in the career service, they also put on lots of workshops, how to write your curriculum vitae or resume in American language, and also how, all kinds of special things like an employability week. And there'll be opportunities to work with different UK companies, But also there are opportunities to learn about international companies, some of whom might have offices in the UK, but also maybe offices back in India. So all of these opportunities exist. And then on top of that, I would say that for many of the academic schools, there are also very good links with industry and partnership there. So for example, I know that with our engineering school, I think it's over 80%, like 84% of students will get placed with one of our industry partners. And I'm sure the business school, Ratula, you told us about...
In terms of, just picking up from where you just left, in terms of employability, the university stands at 84% plus employable students who graduate. In terms of the business school, we're sitting at over 90%. So you can see it can work beautifully in terms of, and at the moment there are 2-year, post-study work visa and all that. But think about it this way: you guys looking at this, thinking about going to the UK from India. Look at me, I am Indian, right?
I hadn't noticed.
I'm Indian. I came from India to the UK a long, long time back to study. Getting a job then was even more difficult than it is today. But the point is, if you really work hard at it, you work hard at your studies, you prepare yourself before you go from India, you work when you're there, you are flexible, you work with other people, you market yourself, you can really, really ace it.
Yeah,
that's what I'll tell you. You will ace it. So don't be too worried about it. Give it your best shot, and you'll come out front.
I think that's really true. I think that's a really good point.
And then can I add to that as well?
Yeah.
Is in the NBS, for instance, which is Knowledge Business School. Like just last week, we had the employability week, where we get many companies from across the market. Okay, so we will get accounting firms, we get finance companies that are doing finance, digital marketing, HR firms or HR personnel from different firms to come and say what are the kind of skills and competencies they're looking for from students, from graduates. Okay, so you're getting straight away information from the horse's mouth, so to speak. We do training for what you are expecting. So there's a whole gamut of activities that take place for our business school students, which help you get you sorted out for when you are hitting the market. So there's a lot happening.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to say is it's not just us saying this. I mean, one of the wonderful things is we got voted this year as top for graduate prospects. So that was a sort of student crowd. So basically these are students on a virtual platform voting which university did they feel across the whole of the UK, which university they think was best for getting jobs after you graduate. And we won, so we were really happy about that. So so the students have spoken, I think, about that, and so we're very, I think, we're not based in the big city. We're based, Norwich is a medium-sized city, but it's quite close to London. It's, you can get to London in less than 2 hours on the train. It's very close to Cambridge, about an hour away. And then the city itself obviously has lots of job opportunities as well, and even the wider region. So, we're known for example, for our energy. So there are opportunities within the energy industry. We also have a big car company, Lotus, very close by, and we have a big insurance company. So those are the key areas, and they all provide jobs locally. But students, can easily go and work in London afterwards, or in the whole of the surrounding area. So, I think there are good opportunities. But I think the point that Ratula made earlier is about, to a large extent, it is about the individual and really how much you engage. So the student that makes the effort to go a little bit beyond just studying their course, to really engage with the university, to take those opportunities to maybe do a little volunteering, to get involved in student societies, to have something to talk about when you go to an interview, those students will do well. But I always like to say that I'm really aware that I have children of my own, and I know that not all students are extrovert. Some people feel a little shyer, and it can be difficult when you're in a new culture. So I would say just realise that there is something for everybody. So some people might want to come and they want to join a debating society or a drama society, or they want to join the sports people and play Harry Potter Quidditch, which is a society, strangely enough. Or what was the one that you said your son did?
Lifting club.
Lifting club, okay, and football and all these. We have so many sports societies. But there are also societies for perhaps quieter people, perhaps who have different interests. So for example, there's a chess club, a massive chess club at the university. So there is something for everybody, and I think it's about finding the right thing for you. But if you can show when you go to an employer that you've engaged in some way or another, and you've taken your life forward, and you have that kind of initiative, you have transferable skills, that you're a good team player, that you have leadership potential, and that you're prepared to be flexible, I think, and put your hand to anything, then you have every chance in the world. And finally, you have to remember that there is a large, like Ratula, there's a large population of people from India within the UK, and sometimes students find jobs with people that they know, and so that's also a great opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you like to take? What tips would you like to give to your students while they prepare for jobs?
Well, I think
you can follow from exactly what you just said.
Yeah,
right?
I think those were the tips in a way.
Those were the tips.
Yeah. I think those are the tips. Just be ready, and be prepared to engage.
Yes, and the thing is, there was this thing about what can you do to prepare yourself for studies in the UK or with UEA. I mean, it's the same. You're going to UK, you may be going to another university, you may be coming to us.
Yeah.
The tips would be keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Make friends with people, even if you know some of the other students who are going with you from your city. Don't just stick to them. Natural tendency will be to stick to them, but don't do that. Keep your friends, but make other friends. See about, learn about the environment you're in. Get it to immerse into the culture where possible. Learn about the city. Just throw yourself into everything that is around you, because it'll be so different. And don't let the culture, the climate, or anything shock you.
Well, if it does, I think sometimes things will be a surprise, and sometimes you'll come across things that you weren't expecting. Just like when I come to India, there are things that I don't expect, but I think it's really just
open mind.
It's trying very, and it can be difficult, but it's trying to embrace those things, and also think, well, it's different, but that's okay. I will live with that difference, and then maybe look out also for the similarities, because actually, as someone who's travelled to different places around the world, I believe that there are more similarities than there are differences.
There is,
actually, and people are people, and in every way that you go, there'll be people you think, maybe not, and there'll be people that you just click with and that you want to make your friend. So I think it is. Do you know what? I think it's a lot about listening. It's about listening to the other people and then understanding where they're coming from. And I think that's the approach to take the whole thing with. And also, when you get there, have some fun, because this is
work hard and play hard.
Work hard, play hard. Exactly. Do both. Do both.
And before you go from here, some of the other tips are kind of engage in the subject area you're going to be studying, because that'll help. It'll let you hit the ground running. Hitting the ground running is an important one. Do that. Learn how to cook as well, because many of you, like me, how I was, didn't know a thing about cooking. Learn a few things. So
and now she's a wonderful cook. Yeah.
Okay, there you are. So you can help yourself. So you can have the kind of food you like and stuff. Make sure that you kind of deal with the finances and stuff. Take your medication. I would say this: take the medication you're used to from here before you go, so that any little ailments that happen and you're used to certain genre of medication, you can have them with you.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
To help yourself.
And all I was going to say about the cooking is, if you don't learn to cook before you come, because you don't want to, or it's just too difficult, then very quickly make friends with someone who does.
Yes, or there's delivery.
There is, there's plenty of ways to get food.
So those are the simple things. Just get yourself there to do that. And in terms of
maybe it's time I asked you a question, Ratula. I was going to say, business school it's very popular with students, particularly with Indian students. There's lots of choices, and this will be the same at probably most UK universities. I think particularly at UEA we've got courses. They sound kind of similar. So we've got MSc Management, MSc Global Business Management, MSc Business Management, MSc Digital Business and Management. So even I'm having to read this list out, because they all sound similar, but you could perhaps tell us what the difference is.
There are stark differences. First of all, when you are choosing something like Global Business Management, I would hope that you as an applicant will know where you want to put yourself in the market in the future. Maybe it's a global company you want to work for. Maybe something you want to do where you want to position yourself in a particular direction or whatever. Global Business Management, I think, is one of the very, very few, maybe on tips of your fingers, course in the UK where you can actually choose your path. And let me tell you, this course came into being only about 3 or 4 years ago. But it has become a very popular course for the reason that our students tell me when I ask them is this: Ratula, this is fantastic. I have this enormous number of modules and stuff, and I can position myself where I want to be. I want to go into branding, but I don't necessarily need to do just branding. I can pick up other marketing things to get into branding. I can do accounting, I can do finance, but it is a global approach to the whole thing. So that is global business management, okay?
Yeah. So you understand about how this is done in other countries?
Yes, and it's a global international approach to the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you have business management. Now, business management, anywhere you do in the UK or America, is a generic program, right? So you are an applicant who perhaps wants to be, obviously in business, be a management trainee or whoever. However, you really don't know which is the area that you definitively are interested in. You're keeping yourself open. Therefore, you're covering the whole gamut of management. You're doing from HR to accounting to finance to marketing to all sorts of different areas, strategic management, all of that. So when you come out, it is like business management is like an MBA without the experience.
Ah, that makes sense.
It is like an MBA without the experience. So you're becoming theoretically very knowledgeable, while if you did an MBA, you'd be practically knowledgeable, supporting you with theory from an MBA. Do you see?
Yeah.
So business management, this is why popularity of business management is as high as it is, and our business management is very good. Now, what else?
When you combine the two, business and management,
because they're two separately. That you're doing some absolutely business, and then there's some that are looking only the management aspects of it. And then we're looking at business and business management is business management.
Business management,
yeah. MSc Digital Business and Management. Again, we're looking at the digital aspects of stuff, but management is the main generic areas we're covering. So we're going to do some marketing management, we're going to do some other bits of management, because anywhere you're going, you have to look at that aspect. Then you're looking at human resource management within all of this. Do you see?
Okay.
So
yes.
when you look at it, yes, there are a lot of programs. Why are there a lot of programs? Because it's also giving you the options to choose where do you want to position yourself. So for me, my advice to anybody who wants to do a course, it may be business, it may be, for all I know, psychology, or whatever it is you want to do in the UK, look carefully. And I will never say just come to UEA. Yes, I love UEA. We do some of the best programs, I think. However, you need to choose based upon, you have to identify where you want to be. You have to identify the courses, you have to identify the universities, you have to identify the city you want to be. Now for me, I would say, I have been in the UK for many, many, many years now. I love Norwich. I love Norfolk. It is a beautiful city. And I'm hoping we will be able to put some videos up for you as well, where you will see our Indian students from Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, what they say about their life in Norwich and UEA. And most of them are doing part-time jobs and stuff, which will interest many of you.
Yeah.
So it is fabulous, and it is not difficult to choose, but make a judgment based on understanding and information. So do your homework.
Yeah, and what kind of city you want to be in.
Yes.
What kind of environment you want, and very much around the course. I mean, the information is on the website. If you're not clear after that, often you can go onto this Unibody platform. You can talk to an academic to ask more questions, or one of the staff from my team to ask questions. You can talk to, if you're working with an agency, that you can talk to them, and then ultimately you can talk to students. So you can just connect with students very easily. Certainly at University of East Anglia, you can ask other students, how are they finding it, what do they recommend. So I think doing your research is really critical. When you've narrowed down your universities, then just do a lot of research and try to work out, is this the right place for me? Because if you get that right, you're going to have a great experience.
It needs to fit you, you see?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you may go by name. Oh, that university, and I won't name names here.
Yeah.
Oh, but that university might have 35,000 students. Where would you fit in that university? Would you just be a drop somewhere? Think about it carefully. Are you a kind of person who wants to go somewhere where there's a lesser number of students?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to a place where people really take care of you? Think carefully.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. UEA campus, tell us about the safety, the unique features, sports park available on campus, and anything else you might like to add.
Sure. Well, I think the campus is beautiful. It's a very green campus. We've won awards for being a very environmentally friendly campus. It's actually very beautiful. It has a lake on the campus, and you can wake up in the morning and you can run around the lake, and some of the halls of residence actually look out over the lake. But we also have very modern accommodation on the campus. So we have over 4,500 rooms around the campus, or you can live in the city of Norwich, or you can live just outside the campus. So there's plenty of choice for you depending on what you want. And interestingly, the university has realised that some students prefer sharing rooms rather than having individual rooms. So actually they're at the moment trying to create more accommodation with shared rooms for students, responding to the need from students, a request from students to do that. So I like to think that the campus listens to students and then puts things in place that improve the student experience. But in terms of the actual campus, it would take you 15 minutes to walk from one end to the other. And on the way, we have this kind of teaching wall, which was built right back in the 1960s. And it was actually built by an architect who really wanted to have a community. And I think that feeling has stayed with UEA throughout. So there's a very nice square with steps going down. And in the summer, all the students sit on the steps and they chat and they have a drink and have their lunch there. And the square is surrounded by other facilities. So cafeterias, restaurants, and supermarket is right there. We have the student union bar where people go and socialise, and then just up the steps on the other side we have a nightclub where actually we have gigs with people coming from all over the place. I'm of an age where I wouldn't know most of the band names. The one I knew most recently was Coldplay, which you may have heard of, but lots and lots of bands that my children often attend the gigs there, because you could come from outside the university also. So there's a lot of things going on, lots of societies and clubs. We have a beautiful sports facility on the campus. So we have a running track, we have football fields, we have an Olympic-sized pool. It is one of the best sports centres in the UK at a university, so we're extremely proud of that. And if you walk to the other end of the campus, you will find an art gallery, which has thousands of collections from all around the world.
It's like a museum as well.
It's a museum. It's basically an art gallery museum with sculptures and paintings, and it's got 2 cafes, a beautiful restaurant and a small cafe on the art gallery. And one of the most, I was about to mention the Avengers. So I think if I go in there and see all these beautiful collections, but most people when they come, they recognise it because it was filmed for the Avengers, the Marvel film Avengers, and it was their headquarters. So if you go back and watch that film, you look at the headquarters, that is actually the UEA Museum and Art Gallery, the Sainsbury Centre. Yeah. And it is, it's the only
one in the UK, you know.
It is the only one in the UK, and it's very beautiful, and
yes.
And it also is very futuristic looking. Yeah. Even though it was actually built in the 1970s, it looks like it's from the future, which is why they chose to film there. Yeah. So there are all these facilities across campus, and what I like most about the campus is that there is a central hub for students. So if you have any problems, you need to go and sort out your library card, you need to sort of get your timetable, you have any sort of issues, you perhaps not feeling so well, everything is there. So you've got a health centre, so there's a doctor's on the campus, there's a dentist on the campus. Very close by, within about 15-20 minutes walk, is the main hospital that serves all the region. So very close to the hospital, and we in fact do a lot of research with the hospital. Then you've got a student centre, you've got people that actually student life, so they will help with all of your pastoral problems and concerns. And we also have a residency team that live in the halls of residence. Often they're sort of more mature students who are employed to actually look after the students and answer questions there. And of course we have a security on our campus which is extremely good. We have a security office, and we have very friendly, lovely security staff who always help me when I get problems, and they come around the campus, particularly at night, just to make sure everybody's safe.
It is a very, very safe campus, I have to admit, and our students also say that. And in fact, to add to that, Norwich itself it's considered to be the safest city. The least crime ever in the UK is Norwich. So if you guys and your parents, like my parents were when I came to the UK, very careful, cautious, wanted to know where is my child going to be, then Norwich is the place to be.
Yeah, I think that's true.
A fabulous university. You have one of the biggest campuses, 320 acres of land we have. It is safe and secure. And another thing our students say is the warmth of the people of Norfolk. People are generally warm and smiling.
Yeah.
They are really, really something different. So I think we have all of it going for us. else.
I agree. I mean, there's no place in the world where you can say it's 100% safe. You can never be sure of that. And of course, there are people everywhere that can cause problems. But generally speaking, and this is borne out by the videos from our Indian students, is that people do feel quite welcome. And I think for the economy, we have to remember that students coming from all these different regions bring a lot to the economy. So the taxi drivers love the students that come in who get the taxis and the shops and the restaurants. They get a lot of custom from the students. So
and culturally, students coming from all over the world, you're enriching Norwich. You're enriching the population that are living there.
Yeah, and our British students, because I mean, bear in mind that we have about 17,000 students, and 3,000 of those are international students. So the majority are British students, and actually, it's very good for those students to actually learn from the cultures that come.
Yeah, they're budding up, and then you wanted to talk with the safe zone as well.
So they become. So everybody at UEA should become a global citizen. That's our plan. So yes, Rutula was just going to ask about some of the other aspects about the safety. So one of the things they implemented in the last few years is something called Safe Zone. So basically, it's an app on your phone. So wherever you are on campus or even off campus, if you have a problem, you can just sort of note it on that, and you will get a fast response. So I suppose all the time the university is thinking of new ways in which they can make students feel really, really safe. And there's a lot of constant advice given out by the student union about how to keep safe when you're going out to nightclubs, you're going out partying and all these things, because we talk about all these things like it's very serious, and it is serious with safety and making sure you keep safe. And there's a lot done at the university to help students in that whole process to make sure they keep safe when they're out and about. But we also have to remember that it is perfectly possible to have lots of fun and keep safe at the same time. Yes. So there's plenty to do and plenty of activities you can get involved in, so that you have a good time, but you keep safe at the same time.
Yeah, and if any of you are interested about while you're there and you really want to boost your financial situation, but many of our master's students are doing part-time work, and it doesn't seem to be difficult to find the jobs. In fact, some of my students come to a lecture and they look a little bit tired sometimes. So I'm like, what have you been doing? Oh, I had a shift. I'm like, please, your number one priority is doing the course really well, and there is a part-time job. But in short, if you wanted a part-time job, it is available. Yeah,
and there are some jobs actually on the campus. So for example, we employ around 30 students in our office, sort of doing jobs. So they do social media for us. They will show people around the campus. Ambassadors, and they attend our open days when the British students will come to see the campus. So they do all kinds of things for us. And so, and we're not the only department that takes students. So there are opportunities for jobs on the campus as well as off the campus, in the restaurants, in the cafes, in the administration, lots of different things. And I think that's a good thing, because then if you get the experience doing part-time work, and you can work, I think it's 10 hours a week, it's 20 hours a week, 20 hours a week. Yeah. So you can work 20 hours a week while you're in the UK. And I agree with Rutula, not too much, because you are supposed to be studying, but doing a little is good, because then when you look for your job before you end your studies, your post-study job, to have a little bit of experience beforehand is a very good thing.
Because it adds to your CV.
Exactly.
And experience is good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't have to even be paid experience, even volunteering. Anything you do will all add to your employability when you graduate.
Yeah, so I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, and I was just going to say one final thing to add on the employability is that when you finish and you've graduated, we don't just say that's it. You actually can continue to use the career service for some time, some years after you graduate. So whether you come back to India, or whether you stay in the UK, we will continue to help you. It's not the end of the story. And of course, we then hope that years later, when we're out visiting, like Rutula and I are at the moment, visiting Delhi, that we will be able to connect with students back here who then become our alumni. And then they become ambassadors for our university and help new students, perhaps to find jobs in their companies, or to just to give them advice and guidance. And that already happens with some of our students here, and we want that to continue. So let's hope that you become one of those students, and then you become one of our treasured alumni in the future.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this video and you're listening to Karen and I, you're doing well.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can only do better.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening.